Have you ever wondered what it actually takes to succeed as an entrepreneur? The stakes that are involved to really take out that winning trophy and get the recognition that you really want? I'm going to reveal the cheat codes that I've learned in the last 8 years of entrepreneurship. They've literally taken me from being completely broke and unhappy at 21 to then financially free by 23, to make my first $1 million by 28, and travel more than 50 countries, literally living my dream life. These 3 things have taken me years of literally trying to figure this out on my own, plus interviewing hundreds and hundreds of super successful people, picking their brain to see how they did it as well. So buckle up, I've even thrown in another bonus tip for you guys. So stay to the end and I'll tell you a little bit of an embarrassing story actually, and how you can avoid it yourself. You see, in my early years of entrepreneurship, I spent most of my time and my effort trying to convince all the other people around me to also wake up, smell the roses, and actually start taking their life seriously. I spent so long trying to convince my friends, my family, and all the people around me that, hey, you should listen to motivational stuff too. You should get into personal development too. You should start transforming your mindset. And I spent way too freaking long trying to convince other people that were with me to also get in the boat, when I should have just got in the freaking boat and started rowing with or without them. You see, I never actually took any real action for probably the first 2 years because I was too busy caught up either trying to convince them to come with me, or I was still close enough to them hearing their opinions. I was hearing all the things, the negative things they were saying to me. Say, you'll never get to do this, you're an idiot, you're never gonna succeed, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you've probably heard the same. But here's the reality. If you truly want to succeed and get to the top and beat the rest of the people, you've got to have the courage to actually lose sight of the shore, including every single person who's also there with you. Now, I'm not saying that you need to cut off your friends and family. However, you got to have tunnel vision and actually focus on what's important. You've got to focus on the island that you want to get to. And then when you actually declare, hey, this is the island I want to get to, I want to get over here, then you announce to the promised land, you announce to everyone that you're with, hey, I'm getting in the boat and I'm going there. If people get in with you, then fair enough, and that's all good. But you've got to make the decision and actually just go with or without them. So there's going to be so many people that are going to try and throw shade at your boat, and they're going to throw shit at you, and they're going to tell you can't do it. But the further away from the shore you go, the quieter those noises become. Another thing I did for way too long as well was when I was rowing my boat, I'd start looking left and right, and I was paying attention to the other people rowing their boats as well. And I got way too caught up in trying to figure out what other people were doing. And I was too caught up in the competition, or too caught up in just trying to copy other people, instead of just actually focus on the freaking island. Because the ultra successful people focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is the end result they want, period. Nothing else. All of their focus goes into just that one thing. That goes into the thing they actually want to get. They understand that where your focus goes, energy flows. You see, they're not focused on other people in the game. They're not focused on who's winning the race. And they sure as hell are not looking behind them at the people who didn't come with them. So there is a saying that winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. So make sure you're aware of where your focus is going and focus on the things that you actually want. And don't be afraid to get in the boat, take the courage, and lose sight of the shores. Number 2 is you've got to prepare for the marathon. You are in a marathon, you're not in a sprint. And this day and age, there's so much fluffy bullshit online that is telling you all these things. You've got to meditate for 10 hours a day. You've got to take care of yourself. The self-care, don't burn out, and all this crap. And all the people that are on their healing journey and all these things. And the whole attitude of actually just rolling up your sleeves and getting into action and working hard is sort of now shunned upon and pushed out the door. But then also on the other side of the pendulum, there's a bunch of videos and a bunch of gurus getting around as well that are saying the complete opposite, saying you've got to work 27 hours a day and you can't eat and you can't sleep and you can't see your family and you can't do anything fun ever. You've just got to work. The truth is they're both completely stupid. You've got to understand that you're running a marathon. So what you want is a blend of both. You need massive hard work and you need to work smart as well and take thoughtful action. So imagine this, for example. Can an airplane get off the ground with only 80% throttle? No, it can't. It's got to use absolutely every single thing it's got in its power. It's got to give it everything it's got for a short amount of time. It's got to get completely fueled up. It's had its maintenance done. It's got its crew on board. It's got all the support and everyone around it that it needs. And then after a short amount of time of taking huge freaking action and making the sacrifices, it then, once it gets to a good altitude, it kicks back, it relaxes, it levels out. And then people can get up and walk around the plane. And hey, they can even put freaking autopilot on and not even have to do much work anymore. But if it wants to climb to a new altitude, what is it going to do? It's going to completely give 100% again. See, you're exactly like an airplane. If you truly want to create massive success, and you think that you can just hibernate your way there and chill and self-care and meditate your whole way there, it's a complete load of shit. And anyone who's spitting that thing right now is either one of these two people. They're either completely broke, or they're a successful person that actually forgot about the things that they did in the very beginning that got them to where they are, and now they're sharing you the things that they're doing now because they're in hibernation mode. They're leveling out. So you've got to be careful of where you actually get your information from and pay attention to the people that are actually at the same position as you. So how can you prepare for your marathon? Look, I'm not saying you got to work yourself into the ground. I'm actually kind of against that. I'm saying if you want to create any sort of massive success, you do have to go through a season of all-out massive freaking action. When I was working my full-time job as a carpenter, I was working 12 to 13 hours a day. Then I'd come home at night and I'd build my part-time side hustle for about 4 hours a day. And I would sleep anywhere between 3 to 4 hours a day. And yes, that's not extremely healthy. However, I made that short-term sacrifice for about a period of 6 to 9 months. And that was enough to actually free me up out of my job where I could then kick back a little bit and then just work 8 to 9 hours a day on my business and have more freedom and travel the world. I just see a lot of people these days trying to build a side business and escape their 9 to 5 and actually get that first leg up. And they think that they can do it by just watching Netflix every day still. They think that they can do it by having a 5-hour morning routine. They think that they can do it by still having their Saturdays and their Sundays off. It just does not happen. You'll never get your plane off the ground if that's the case. So prepare for your marathon by doing these things. Take care of your health. Work from prevention. I take nootropics every single day. I fuel my body with great nutrition. I work out every day. I fill up my cup so I don't actually get to the point of burnout. You got to have really good people around you, just like an airplane. It's got its co-captain. It's got its crew on board. It's got all these people. It's got the maintenance guys. So you've got to have good people around you. You've got to have good mentors. You've got to have a good circle. You got to have a good team around you to help you get to that next level. And it also helps if you have a bit of a plan of attack and then you let the people around you know what it is you're actually doing. So imagine if you're on the airplane and then all of a sudden the captain just takes off and everyone's standing up and they fall over and they weren't ready for it. So if you've got a family, if you've got a partner and you're about to go into a season of just all out massive action, let them all know and say, hey, you may not see a lot of me for the next 90 days, 120 days, because I've got this huge game plan and I'm going all out. But at the end of it, here's what I'm going to do to sort of make it up. Let's go out to dinner. Let's celebrate. Let's go on a holiday. But if you let the people around you know, what you'll actually find is they'll support you more along the journey as well. So a great athlete can only perform at their peak potential on the field because of what they do when they're off the field. So I'm all for taking massive action and having great recovery. You can't sprint the entire way of the marathon, but throughout a marathon, it's well planned out. You have short bursts where you take massive action. Then you have other periods where you cut back a little bit and you maintain. So straight off the starting line, you've got to get into the game until you can get to a point where you can start to maybe hire some people or free up some time so you can buy back some of your time. But until then, you've really got to get this plan off the ground by yourself. So the main issue these days is people have just become really soft and they're actually thinking that they're so close to burnout when they're actually nowhere freaking near it. The truth is you've got a lot more in the tank than you actually think, and you've got to find your own line of what you can actually get out of yourself. Number 3 is you've got to understand the compound effect. When I was 24 years old, I got flown to Maui to speak on stage with Darren Hardy. He wrote the book, The Compound Effect. And one of the things he shared to me at dinner that night was he was saying to me that, Morgan, don't underestimate doing the teeny little things every single day. Stay disciplined doing the little things even if you don't want to do them, like going to the gym, reaching out to people, doing the little tiny boring things in your business, because one day those things will completely compound and in the space of 1 or 2 years, you won't even recognize where you are. Think of Logan Paul. Him and his brother Jake have been doing videos for now for well over a decade. And yes, they've crushed it for the past decade, but I would really say in the last 1 to 2 years, he has absolutely freaking exploded with the wrestling, with the prime drinks, and all these different things that he's actually doing. And I would bet my bank account that he's actually made more money in the last 2 years than he has in his whole first decade in the game. And that comes down to because of the compound effect of just every single day, making videos, chopping wood, carrying water, or whatever that saying is. So the thing with this is you've got to be prepared to play the long game. Why? Because everybody else is as well. Be prepared, play the long game, run the marathon, keep your eyes on the freaking ball. And when you feel like it's not working yet, just know that these are the tiny little things that are compounding. And one day you wake up and have the biggest year of your life. I've heard it too many times before where people become a 10-year overnight success story. And the last one, this is my bonus one. And guys, if you've loved this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we drop out multiple videos a week to help you guys learn the tips, tricks, and attitudes to build your dream life. The final one is this. You've actually got to be in the game. There's a saying that I've made up a long time ago, and it goes like, I would rather lose in the game than watch from the sidelines. A lot of people never actually jump into the game because they have a fear of failing, and sometimes they even have a fear of actually winning, which is crazy. But they have this fear of actually getting in the game and losing and having the people from the sidelines yell at them and boo at them and all these types of things. But I would rather actually lose in the game and give it my best than to be one of the other losers in mediocre town sitting on the sideline just booing, telling you how they think you should have done it. But here's the reality. If they were actually good, they would be in the game. But you're the one actually giving it a shot. And this is something I've got to pull myself up on still sometimes, because sometimes, even though I'm in the game every single day doing the things, I can get lazy and sit back on the sidelines, and I find myself scrolling social media maybe and seeing other people also doing epic things. And I start to compare myself, or I start to say things in my head like, oh, but they only got this because of this, and this. Or I'll even say things like, oh, why have they got that when I could have that? And then I catch myself and I say, Morgan, but are you actually in the game right now? Or are you just watching and talking shit from the sidelines? And every single time, it's me on the sidelines, watching the people that are actually doing things, consuming content instead of creating content, talking about people instead of just doing the thing. And then after I've had that awareness, I just tell myself, Morgan, stop being a little bitch, get back in the game, and actually go and take the action you know you need to be doing. And it works every single time. And if you ever wondered how millionaires actually make their wealth, I would suggest go and watch this video right here, because I made a video all about it. And I'll tell you what, it's not building 7 income streams like most people will tell you. So go ahead and check this out right now. You guys are going to love it. Oh, and I wasted an entire bottle of Moe teaching you this lesson. So go check it out.